Psychology says that people who struggle to make friends are often misread. They're labeled as distant, awkward, or difficult. But most of the time, that label misses the point entirely. The truth is, social life doesn't feel light or effortless for everyone. For some people, it feels heavy, draining, complicated in ways that are hard to explain. If you've spent years trying to connect, only to feel exhausted or out of place, it's easy to assume the problem must be you. But psychology suggests something very different. Struggling to make friends isn't a sign that you're broken. It's often a sign that your mind processes people, emotions, and environments more deeply than average. What feels normal to others, casual conversations, surface-level bonding, constant social contact, can feel overwhelming or empty to you. You're not failing at friendship. You're reacting honestly to a social world that often rewards speed, performance, and appearances over sincerity and depth. For people like you, being social isn't just talking. It's reading tone, interpreting body language, sensing emotional shifts, filtering out what feels fake and what feels real. All of that takes energy. And when that energy is spent in the wrong places, your system pushes back. That's why forcing yourself into friendships that don't feel right can leave you more drained than being alone. Silence feels calmer than pretending. Distance feels safer than shallow connection. This video isn't about teaching you how to fix yourself. It's about helping you understand why making friends has felt so hard and why that difficulty may actually come from strengths you've never been taught to recognize. Once you see what's really happening beneath the surface, the story you tell yourself about your social life starts to change. One of the biggest reasons you struggle to make friends is simple, but rarely said out loud. You can't stand insincerity. You notice it immediately. The forced smiles, the exaggerated enthusiasm, the conversations that sound friendly on the surface, but feel hollow underneath. While others brush it off as just how people are, your mind reacts almost instantly. You don't just hear words. You pick up on tone shifts, contradictions, and emotional gaps. Gossip feels heavy. Manipulation feels obvious. Social games feel exhausting. And once you sense that something isn't genuine, your interest shuts down. Psychology shows that as self-awareness increases, tolerance for inauthentic behavior decreases. The more you understand yourself, the harder it becomes to play roles just to belong. That's why pretending drains you faster than being alone. You've probably been around people who seem friendly, but leave you feeling oddly depleted. Nothing terrible happened, yet your energy disappears. That's your system recognizing misalignment. You're not rejecting people, you're rejecting the performance. Most social circles survive on politeness, surface harmony, and unspoken competition. But your mind is wired to look beneath that. You notice who smiles to your face, but speaks differently when you're gone. You sense hidden agendas long before they're confirmed. Because of that, your circle stays small. Not empty, carefully filtered. You're not antisocial. You're selective. Authenticity isn't optional for you. It's the baseline. If someone can't show up honestly, you'd rather keep your distance than trade your peace for company. And while that makes friendships harder to find, it also protects something most people lose early on: emotional clarity. Another reason making friends feels so difficult is that you don't connect through small talk. You connect through depth. You might be in a room full of people, conversations happening all around you, laughter filling the space, yet somehow you feel invisible. That's not because you lack social skills. It's because surface-level conversations don't stimulate your mind. You're drawn to meaning, ideas, emotions, questions about life, purpose, and what actually matters. Casual chatter about weather, trends, or routine updates feels like noise. Not because it's wrong, but because it doesn't resonate with how your mind works. You don't want people around just to fill silence. You want connection that feels grounding, familiar, like being understood without having to perform. Until that kind of connection appears, solitude often feels more honest than pretending to belong. At the same time, your mind rarely switches off after social interactions end. You replay conversations hours later, sometimes days later. You think about what you said, how it sounded, how it might have landed. You wonder if you were too quiet, too intense, or too different. This isn't insecurity in the shallow sense. It's a highly active, self-reflective mind. Psychology shows that people with strong self-awareness can become hyper-attuned in social settings. Instead of relaxing into the moment, your brain monitors everything: tone, timing, facial expressions, subtle reactions. The result is mental overload. That constant internal analysis turns even simple conversations into work. It's not that you dislike people. It's that your mind never fully rests around them. Over time, this creates a quiet assumption that others won't truly understand you anyway. So you pull back, not out of arrogance or avoidance, but out of exhaustion. Another layer beneath your social struggles is the feeling that you've always been slightly out of sync with the people around you. From a young age, you may have sensed that your humor landed differently. Your interests went deeper. Your way of thinking didn't quite match the room. Even when you were included, something felt off, like you were present, but not fully seen. Psychologists describe this as social incongruence. It happens when your personality, values, or pace don't align with the environment you're in. When that mismatch repeats over time, your mind learns an important lesson. Closeness comes with risk. So instead of constantly reaching out and hoping to be understood, you begin choosing distance. Not because you dislike people, but because you've learned that misunderstanding hurts more than solitude. At the same time, this experience often builds something powerful inside you: independence. You've learned how to spend time alone without feeling empty. You can entertain your own thoughts, solve your own problems, sit with silence without panicking. Psychology refers to this as low social dependency, the ability to regulate your self-worth internally rather than through constant external validation. Some people mistake this for loneliness, but it isn't. It's self-sufficiency. You don't chase approval. You don't force yourself into circles that require you to shrink, soften, or pretend. You'd rather wait sometimes for a long time than betray who you are just to fit in. That's why your social circle looks different. It's not crowded. It's intentional. Small enough to protect your energy. Strong enough to feel real. You're not isolated. You're selective. And there's a difference most people never learn to recognize. For many people who struggle to make friends, the hesitation isn't random. It comes from memory. You may have been excluded when you were younger, overlooked, made to feel replaceable, or you trusted someone who eventually disappointed or betrayed you. Even if those moments weren't dramatic, they left a mark. Psychology shows that once trust is broken, the brain adapts. It becomes more cautious, more observant, less willing to open doors quickly. So now, instead of rushing into connection, you watch, you listen, you take your time. From the outside, this can look like being closed off, but on the inside, it's protection. You're not shutting people out, you're making sure they're safe to let in. On top of that, social interaction simply costs you more energy than it does for others. Conversations that feel effortless to extroverted people can leave you exhausted. Not because you're weak, but because your nervous system processes more information at once. Tone, body language, context, emotional shifts, all of it registers deeply. While some people recharge by being around others, your system works differently. Your social battery drains faster, and once it's low, forcing more interaction only creates stress. That's why alone time isn't a luxury for you. It's maintenance. It's how your mind resets, how your body relaxes, how you recover from stimulation the world rarely notices. When you take space, you're not rejecting connection. You're preserving your ability to connect meaningfully when it truly matters. Another reason friendship feels difficult is the quiet fear of being judged. You want to be relaxed, witty, confident, someone people naturally enjoy being around. But the pressure to show up the right way can make your mind freeze before your words ever come out. Psychology calls this fear of negative evaluation, the worry that others are constantly assessing you, not just what you say, but how you say it, your expressions, your pauses, your reactions. When that pressure builds, pulling back can feel safer than risking embarrassment or rejection. So you hesitate. You hold parts of yourself back, not because you're hiding something fake, but because what's real feels too exposed. And yet, beneath all of this, there's something important most people never notice. You have a rich inner world. Your mind is active even when you're silent. You notice details others overlook. You think deeply. You reflect. You feel things fully even if you don't always show it. While others bond quickly on the surface, you form meaning internally first. These traits, depth, sensitivity, independence, reflection, can make friendship harder to find. But when connection does happen, it's different. You don't collect friends. You build bonds. Your friendships aren't loud or frequent, but they're loyal, thoughtful, lasting. The kind built on understanding rather than convenience. This is why, when you do let someone into your world, it matters. And it's why losing connection hurts deeply, but finding the right one changes everything. So here's the truth most people never tell you. Struggling to make friends doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It means your mind works differently, with more depth, more sensitivity, more awareness than the world usually knows how to handle. You don't skim the surface of people or experiences. You feel them. You think them through. You sense what's underneath. And because of that, quick connections rarely satisfy you. Deep people rarely bond instantly. You need time, safety, emotional alignment. And until those conditions exist, being alone can feel healthier than forcing yourself into relationships that drain you or dilute who you are. But when you do find your people, when someone meets you with the same honesty, curiosity, and emotional presence, you become the kind of friend most people search for their entire lives. Loyal, insightful, steady, someone who listens without judgment and connects without pretense. So if you've ever wondered why friendship has felt harder for you than for others, let this be your reframe. You're not behind. You're not defective. You're just built for something deeper. And those kinds of connections don't arrive quickly, but when they do, they last. If you want more psychology insights that help you understand yourself at this deeper level, make sure to subscribe. The next video might finally put words to something you've felt your entire life but never knew how to explain.